Hi, I'm Dr. Elliot Adam from ElliotOracle.com. I'm also the author of the best selling Fearless Tarot and the award winning Tarot and Love Consulting the Cards in Matters of the Heart. Both books are published by Llewellyn and they're available online in a lot of metaphysical stores. So check this book out if you want to take a fearless approach to tarot reading. It is time for this week's Oracle reveal. So, yesterday on my social media, I placed up a photo of three different animals and asked you to use your intuition and just ask yourself which animal seems to be calling to you, because that animal has your message. And the three animals were the frog, the penguin, and the phoenix. So if you're just joining me now, ask yourself which animal seems to be calling to you. It doesn't have to be your favorite animal. It just has to be the one that's getting stuck in your head for some reason because that animal has your message. And first, we're going to go into the frog animal spirit. And the frog is the one who calls the rains. The frog is the rain caller. And frog represents the cleansing power of the element of water. If you're attracted to frog this week, it might be that you need to just drink more water or maybe be around water. And sometimes frog can also cleanse through tears. So releasing old, backed up, stopped up emotions and letting them flow again. That is also governed by frog. First card for frog is where is it best for you to place your focus this next week? And we get the Nine of Wands. And with the figure on the Nine of Wands, you can see he's bumped and bruised. He's got a bandage on his head. Life hasn't been all the way easy for him. And yet he's still standing. He's resilient. And so a lot of times the Nine of Wands will call to mind something in your own life that's really tested you. And maybe you're needing to feel your way through that. Sometimes the Nine of Wands can also just represent some griping or resentments that build up because you're frustrated, because something's not coming into fruition quite as quickly as you wanted it to, or because you're being met with some opposition on the road to your major goal. And yet, the Nine of Wands is a card of perseverance. It's so important that you're persevering. And even if you get a message that, it's no, I'm trying to get this and it's no, and I can't get around it, and it seems like I'm hitting my head against a wall. Well, perhaps it's just no, not this way. Nine of Wands can indicate that it's time to stop giving into this feeling of grievance or being upset by something not coming smoothly, but instead realize that the things that you work hardest toward are going to have the most value. And also, the Nine of Wands is about building boundaries around yourself so that your emotional energy field is safe and protected and clear. So I just feel like this is going to be a week for the frog to work through and release some very difficult emotions that have to do with conflict, that have to do with not seeing the result you want to see immediately. The advice from your inner wisdom with this is another nine. How interesting. We get the Nine of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles is the card of sweet rewards that await you when you focus on raising your standards, accepting nothing but the best for yourself. The nines in the tarot, they have to do with almost done. Nine is the final single digit number before we get to 10. And then we add those two digits together and we go to number one again and we begin all anew. Nine is like that last leg of the journey. It's also a number of wisdom. And so I feel like the wisdom that's being offered with the frog for you is that rewards are assured. And yet you're kind of going through this last leg of the journey, this last push. And yet, if you can keep your standards high, that Nine of Pentacles is a card of abundance and blessings that await you. And so I just feel like this is an important week not to give up. And the mythic archetype that's going to help you this next week, if you pick the frog, is Athena. And this is from the Oracle of the Celestial Deities, by the way, by my dear friend Latao Wang. So do check that out. But Athena's card here says wisdom, strategy, and the wish to lead. And Athena will always bring up the importance of wisdom for you, the importance of trusting your own inner wisdom, but also seeing the wisdom, the divine plan in everything you're working through right now. Even challenges are so important. They're teachers. They're showing you how to improve, how to get better. And the worst thing you can do is just shake your fist at all these brilliant lessons the universe is giving you right now. And instead, it's important to just absorb the lesson, accept it, and trust your own inner wisdom, your own inner mind. I got Athena over my shoulder here, and she's led me out of many a pickle just by calling me back toward wisdom, toward my experience, toward what my learned experiences through life. And if you look back at your own experience, you'll see those times where you were tested and where you didn't give up and where you were resilient and where things did get better eventually. And so I just feel with Athena, she's telling you, be foresighted. Have an eye on the long game. This is going to be such an important week to apply your own personal wisdom if you pick the frog. Next, we're going to go into the penguin animal spirit. And penguin, it is able to survive the cold. It is a group bird. It survives in groups. It's a flightless bird. It swims. So we have that sort of element of air that's submerged under the water. And so penguin could be an animal archetype where you're braving some of your chilliest emotions, some of your most frozen feelings, and you're going beneath the ice. And you're getting the wisdom there. You're really looking for the area that seems to have been put on ice. Maybe because you had to survive for a time, you had to put your emotions on hold. Penguin is telling you to work with those energies and to get that water defrosted so that you can start to let those emotions flow again. First card for Penguin is where it's best to place your focus. And we got the Seven of Pentacles, which I don't know. I should do like a survey or a poll on the hundreds of these oracle reveals I've done over the years, but I see the Seven of Pentacles all the time. And Seven of Pentacles has to do with that number one word everyone hates to hear in a tarot reading, which is patience. The seeds have been planted. Things are growing in the right direction. And yet your money tree is not yet ready to harvest right now. This is a card of, again, having an eye on the long game, but also accepting that there's some times in life where non-action is best, where you're just letting the bread bake in the oven. Because if you try to eat it right now, it's not going to taste very good. And so sometimes we have to consciously turn our attention away from the thing we're obsessing about towards something that could instead be a benefit to us. And so I just feel like this is a time where it's like, okay, the thing you're really focusing on, sometimes what we really, really want, we actually unconsciously drive it away. Our energy is too hungry and it's too intense and it's repellent. And Seven of Pentacles is all about that medicine of accepting that sometimes things need their time to come into fruition. And so you need to take a step back and just let it bake. And maybe put your focus, your intensity into something that you've been neglecting. Maybe that's where your breakthrough is. Next, we got the advice from your inner wisdom. And look at that, we got the Sun, the best card on the deck. One of the most reassuring cards that the thing that you've planted the seeds for is absolutely going to succeed. A new day will dawn. There is this rebirth of joy and optimism. And yet, patience is needed right now. This isn't a time where it all comes quickly. And so I just feel like, for both animals so far, this whole message of being far-sighted and not numbing your feelings, not freezing your feelings, but instead playing in those things that are still right now, playing with the ice. That's what the penguin's all about, playing with the thing that seems like it's frozen. In time, the sun will thaw those waters again. And then we have the mythic archetype that's going to help you this next week. And we get Vesta, or Hestia. Her card says sanctuary, purification, and the wish to isolate. And Hestia, she's the goddess of the hearth and the home, or Vesta, but she's also the goddess of the sacred flame. She could be telling you that it's time to make room for what's sacred in you and to really apply your energy toward the thing that seems holy, sacred, spiritual for you. Might also be some time for some isolation, some alone time in order to put things in perspective for you. But I feel like there's just this message from your spirit that's saying it's all gonna work out okay. You just need to get your hands off. And instead, like the old saying is, the watch pot never boils. Stop watching that pot so fixedly. It's time to divert your attention toward your spirit and toward what you can create as far as magic is concerned in your life. And then finally, we have the legendary Phoenix card. And, who doesn't love the Phoenix? The Phoenix promises that rebirth and that renewal, which is so important to us. And yet, we don't want to sugarcoat the Phoenix. It's also an animal archetype of loss, endings, finishing the old way, letting go. And these aren't easy things. It's the animal archetype of death, but then also rebirth. And so this animal could be something that is calling you because something's dying in your life right now, but it's promising this beautiful resurrection, this beautiful rebirth. First card for the Phoenix is where is it best for you to place your focus? And we get that appropriate rebirth card of the Fool card. The Fool is just embarking on his new journey, and so too are you. And it's so important that you're taking a leap of faith with it at this time. The Fool isn't afraid of looking like a fool. He's too innocent for that. And so too for you, you need to throw yourself into whatever it is that's in front of you with gusto. And don't be afraid of looking stupid or being self-conscious or over-analyzing. Am I good enough? Can I do this? The Fool is telling you to go for it because you absolutely belong here. That's the whole reason this new journey is starting for you. Also, that little dog on the Fool card sort of nipping at his heels. Dogs can be symbols for friendship or support. And so this could be a time where new friendships may be entering, but also where you might be experiencing some added support. The advice from your inner wisdom for this next week is the High Priestess reversed. Very interesting. Two major arcana cards, which when we see major arcana cards, they really have to do with messages that are happening internally, an internal transformation, something that's going on in your inner wisdom, your inner realm, before you're seeing those results in the external world. When the High Priestess comes up reversed, she might be indicating that you're not paying attention to signs or signals that are trying to find their way to you. And even with that oblivious Fool, there's this new beginning. There's this sort of like sense of like, I don't know what's coming. Oh my God. And yet you're getting all these little signs about what's coming. And you're just so freaked out about this whole new beginning. You're just so raring to go with this new start that you might be forgetting to look at those little sacred messages that are coming your way. The High Priestess, upright or reversed, is the messenger from your ancestors, from your gods or your spirit or your angels, whatever you want to call it. And she's also plugged into your own instincts and intuition. And I just feel like the noisy Fool is not getting quiet enough to hear the wisdom of the in-depth High Priestess. And so this might be a week for you where you're really making time to slow down and pay attention to those little signs that you're seeing on your way. They're going to absolutely guide you with this new beginning. And the mythic archetype that's going to help you this next week is Mars. And Mars's card says passion, action, and the wish to persevere. And so I do feel like there is this new beginning that you do need to go forward with. You do need to be passionate about. You do need to be courageous with it. But also with Mars, sometimes he hacks and slashes through his opportunity and doesn't really think about who he's trampling over or how that's affecting things. Sometimes Mars thinks action is the best way. And yet that wisdom of the High Priestess reverse could indicate that there's some neglecting of that inner wisdom that's trying to get heard at this time as well. So I feel like this week for the Phoenix is all about balance. It's all about balancing that new beginning and that fresh start that you're trying to embark on, but it's balancing it with, as well, listening to that introspective inner wisdom and noticing things. Notice that bird you keep seeing in the tree. Notice the rustle of the leaves on the winds and how the light dapples off of them. Notice when the sacred is trying to talk to you this next week. It's always in dialogue with you. You just might need to be aware of it a bit more and open your senses to it. And that is this week's Oracle Reveal. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can always get a one-on-one reading with me at elliotoracle.com. I know my schedule's really filled up right now, and I am traveling to Greece this week to do a accompanying guidebook to the tarot deck that I've been working on for 25 years. It's based on Greek mythology. I'm so excited to share it with you this next year. But do schedule ahead of time, get in the books, and I can't wait to talk to you then. Also, if you find my videos useful, please like them, share them, subscribe to them, and also put a little comment in the comment box, even if it's just an emoji. That lets YouTube know that the content is engaging and it helps grow this community. I do hope you're going to have a wonderful week, whatever you're doing, and I will see you again here next week. So do take care.